Hello and welcome everybody into another video. My name is Jordan, and if you don't know me, nice to meet you. I'm a streamer, content creator. I like playing FPS games, extraction games. I got myself stuck on Dark and Darker right now. Currently, I just wanted to talk about how things are going on in the community, how people are responding to recent changes that have been made in the game, and kind of my thoughts on that. Also, there is another patch coming up today, November 2nd, if you're watching this, that's going to add another couple of changes to the game, probably some more nerfs. And I just kind of wanted to talk about, like, basically, we're playing an early access game right now. And I know that it's paid, so it's basically not early access because once you've paid for a game, it's not in development anymore, in my opinion. I know some people will agree with me. I think the only difference is that the title of early access gives the developers more liberty to keep on changing things and not have to feel like, okay, this is the game that you bought and paid for. This is how it's going to stay with minor improvements, right? People buying into an early access hopefully would understand that they know that the game is going to change and evolve over time as the developers figure out what they're trying to hone in on as the game grows. And Iron Mace has been very open about the fact that there's still lots of the game that they haven't even built yet, like the training system, the quest system, and things like that. They've even mentioned that multi-classing may be coming in the next couple updates as they incorporate the training mechanic into the game. So that, if you don't know what multi-classing is, basically you could be a mage with a rogue subclass so that you can use some of the abilities of another class but not be fully that class. Anyways, in the most recent patch that was like a week ago, they reverted a change that they had made several weeks ago where they increased the loot to insanely high levels, and people really got used to this, just like, oh, I can find greens, I can find blues, I can find purples, yada yada. There's a bunch of loot everywhere. I get a ton of gold from every match. And basically you could go from an empty stash to a fully decked out, almost, the best gear that you can get very, very quickly. And people kind of got drunk on that power. And then Iron Maze was like, we're actually going to take it back down a notch. And at the same time, they hit us with a balance patch that made it so that you can't get the same perks on all types of gear. And so it was kind of a double whammy where people felt like, wow, the game was fun and you could do everything. And a lot of casual people really liked it because it meant that you didn't have to spend that many hours grinding for all this gear because you could just get it so quickly. You could get money, you could buy it from people. And honestly, the economy got super inflated and things cost a ton. People were trading in like gold bars because gold bags weren't worth enough to like fit in the space of the trade screen. I don't know. You know what I mean? It got a little crazy there. They've reined that back in, and people, I feel like people are being a little bit doomsday, like, oh no, like the game is dying. Like there's not very many people playing it. You got to revert these changes because we hate it now. And I feel like people are being a little short-sighted because if you remember like a month or two ago, the game was very similar to what it is now in terms of how there's not that much loot in the normal lobbies. And I feel like back then people weren't going into the high roller lobbies as much because, people haven't spent as much time learning the game, learning the high roller monsters. But as a game is out longer, more people are going to learn the game better. More people are going to, figure out the secrets, figure out how to cheese the mobs and all that. And more people will eventually gravitate towards high roller. I read a lot of messages. I read a lot of messages on the Discord, on the Reddit. I know you're thinking, oh, those aren't good places to read messages, but I also hang out in other people's streams too when I'm not streaming. And I see and hear how the community is talking. And it really feels like people are in this kind of like doomsday, like, is the game going to die situation? I want to take an example from another game called Hunt Showdown. You may have heard of it. That game has been in development for many years. I just looked it up. It officially released, so that's after the betas and everything, on August 27th, 2019. Essentially, it's had 4 years from the time that it's been released. Hunt Showdown has actually hit like record-breaking player numbers recently, which is kind of strange for a lot of games because some games, their biggest numbers are actually when the game launches, and then they kind of just fall off from there. Hunt Showdown is a game that has had a slow burn over a long period of time, and the developers have, added things slowly, changed things slowly, balanced things slowly. And I honestly think that Dark and Darker is one of those games that could have a similar a similar kind of timeline. I understand that they're breaking and changing and doing really big shifts right now, but keep in mind that, you know, a lot can happen over the course of a year. A lot has happened over the course of the last year of Dark and Darker development. And so I think that as gamers, as, you know, streamers especially, I think it's important to kind of keep a level head about these things, you know, and realize that, like, hey, if you're not having fun with a game right now, that is okay. That is okay. You do not have to play this game. You don't have to play any game. And I've actually thought of some suggestions of things that you could do if right now you're just like, the game's not fun to me. Instead of being like, I hate it, I'm never going to play again, whatever. Maybe just take a break. You know, I think it's super okay to take breaks and to play a different game for a week or two and see how you feel coming back. I've been playing a little bit of Hunt Showdown recently, as they've had another event that came out, and I've been enjoying Hunt Showdown again. I don't always play the same game, so I kind of switch around. And honestly, it keeps things fresh, keeps the relationship that I have with the game healthy, especially as somebody who's streaming it for several hours, multiple times a week. You know, you can get kind of burnt out on things. And I think that translates more into like real life balance. I know that I'm talking about games here, but I really do think that it is important to talk about like real life balance too. Like, if you think about how much of your life you're spending on games versus doing other things like hanging out with friends or going outside and doing activities. Maybe it's working out. Maybe you're going for a run. Maybe you're going to the gym. Maybe try and spend more time doing those things. You know, any other sort of hobbies that you have, doesn't have to be outside. You could have indoor hobbies like woodworking, or I don't know. What are your hobbies? Let me know down in the comment what your favorite hobby is, or what one of your most interesting hobbies is. Because I'd love to know what you guys spend your time on when you're not playing Dark and Darker or other video games. One thing that I did recently was actually like reconnecting with some friends that I hadn't played a lot of games with a lot recently. It's been great, honestly. Like, I reached out, sent a message. I was like, hey, you know, I would really love to play Valheim together. I wanted to play, all of us play Valheim together. And so most weekends recently, we've actually been getting together and gaming as a group, and we're going through and beating the different bosses in Valheim and building up our bases and things like that. And it's been super great. And I think it's super important to not isolate yourself in this world that we live in right now. It's really easy to get isolated, to just, you know, sit on your computer, watch videos, watch streams, and then not actually like talk to anybody. And I understand that talking to other people can be hard. It can be stressful. Maybe it, hurts your anxiety to, have these conversations. And sometimes maybe it's like the fact that you hate small talk. My wife, she hates small talk. She's always just like, I don't want to talk to people because it's just nonsense conversation. It's not like deep conversation. You're not talking about important things. But what I always tell her is like, well, then talk about important things with these people. Because like, if you're talking to somebody and they're just like, oh, how's the weather? How's your mom? Or whatever, and you go up to them and you're like, hey, what do you think about the current, I don't know, geopolitical environment in the United States, or whatever it is, like bring in, maybe not politics, but bring in some like deeper conversations. Like, thought about black holes recently? I watched this super cool video on TikTok the other day that was talking about how, if two black holes collided and, I don't know, like talk about something cool. You can force that to happen. You can engage in conversations that somebody else isn't, going to have naturally. And if they say, yo, I don't know anything about black holes, chill out, bro. And you can be like, cool. And then you can find somebody else to talk to that wants to talk about black holes with you. I don't know, y'all. Like, life's crazy. This isn't even about a video game anymore. This is just like me thinking about life and thinking about you all and hoping that you're doing all right, But anyways, I digress. If you really, really don't want to stop playing Dark and Darker, but you're feeling frustrated with how the current development changes have been going recently, my best suggestion to you is to find something in the game that you enjoy and make little goals for yourself, make little, achievements, self-made achievements, because there are no real achievements in the game, that you can work towards yourself. Because I've been having a blast with the game still, even though there's been doom and gloom in the community. I'm still enjoying myself. I played a different class. I started playing Ranger, Don't hate at me in the chat, in the comments, but it's been really, really fun. And I've been making, mini goals for myself that I work towards. And so that's been really good. If you can find something like, hey, I want to get, this many kills, and you just count how many kills you get. Okay, I want to kill a boss this many times. Count how many times you kill the boss. Or maybe like, I want to collect this much gold, or I want to get to the 3,000 gold so that I can get the stash upgrade, which is now in the game, which is cool. Apparently after the 3,000 gold stash upgrade, it costs 10,000 for another upgrade. That's a lot of cheddar, if you ask me. But we'll see if we ever get to that point. Anyways, the game is going to be wiping, full wipe, come mid-November. That's probably in another like week or two. So we have that to look forward to. And then, like I said, today they're going to do another hotfix. I'll probably be live streaming tomorrow at least. And so you can come in, drop in the stream. We'll talk about the update. If you don't know what's going on, I can fill you in on all the details about that. But anyways, hopefully this video was helpful. Hopefully it was fun to listen to, or whatever. You think my ideas are good or bad, let me know in the comments. But anyways, have a good one, and I'll see you in the next one. Do subscribe if you want to keep on seeing content from me. I do live stream on YouTube Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'm doing dual streams on YouTube and Twitch. So catch you all soon. Have a good one.